independent in thoughts, and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Yes, if we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck.
There we go. Contentious. That's deal-making, kids. He's willing to shut down the government today. They had a little bit of an argument in the old White House over what is going on at the border. And this is it. He wants his thing. Period. Case closed. He wants what he wants, and he's fine with shutting it all down.
I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security.
He says it. He's proud. They disagree. They absolutely disagree. And Nancy Pelosi said to him,
the fact is, you do not have the votes in the House.
Nancy, I do. And we need border security. Nancy, we need border security. It's very simple.
Of course we do.
We need border security.
When I hear him, all I keep was Nancy. I just think of Linda. If you ever saw that video, little kid. Linda. Look, it's going to get ugly. This is what Trump's next 2 years is going to look like. It's going to be contentious. It's going to be arguing. It's going to be fighting. And they're going to come out swinging the minute they're away from each other and telling each other how horrible and awful they've been. Trump, his whole thing is, I want this damn wall. I agreed with what Nancy said last week. He said Mexico was going to pay for it. Why aren't they paying for it? He wants $5 billion to pay for his wall.
60 people of the Republican Party are losing their offices now because of the transition. People are not, the morale.
And we've gained in the Senate. Nancy, we've gained in the Senate. Excuse me, did we win the Senate? We won the Senate.
When the president brags that he won North Dakota and Indiana, he's in real trouble.
He's right. He is in trouble. That's what you're bragging about? We won the Senate. Yeah, okay, you picked up a couple seats in the Senate, but you had your ass handed to you in the House. There's the purse strings. What are you going to do now? I think it's very much a situation where this is what you're going to be looking at moving forward if you're Trump. It is ugly and it's going to be uncomfortable, and he wants this. He wants this. He wants his wall. Quite frankly, you could probably get in a room and say, look, here's the deal. Promise us you'll never run again. Promise us you'll step away, and in return, we'll give you your damn wall, and we won't prosecute you or your family. And he'd be like, I'll take it. Said I was going to do it. This is it. This is it. He's willing to own it, right? He's willing to own that, and I think we always knew Trump is willing to own something like this. And while all this is going on, there's a quiet victory Trump got today, because what's going on in China is a reduction of 40% on tariffs down to 15% on tariffs in certain situations. That's a victory for Trump, but the reality is all anybody's going to be talking about today is this argument.
He has the power to keep government open. Instead, he has admitted in this meeting that he will take responsibility. The Trump shutdown is something that can be avoided.
He has the power. But I think he wants to show everybody he doesn't care. I think that's what he wants to show everybody. I don't care. I want this. I have said I want this. Now, you've also said that Mexico was going to pay for it. You did say that. And I think that that's what you said was going to happen, right? We got issues. We have big issues. We're spending money like it is going out of style. We are spending money like you could not believe. The debt is growing. The deficit, I mean, if you look at the debt, how big it is and how fast, and we're spending. And that's not good. That's not good. He wants $5 billion for his wall, right? $5 billion. That's what he wants, is $5 billion. Do we give him $5 billion? Right? Right? That's what he wants. So you give him $5 billion, but what do you want? See, this is what trade-offs are all about. And oddly enough, for all of the arguing and fighting,
we need border security. I think we all agree that we need border security.
Yes,
is that
we
right?
do.
Good.
We do.
See? We get along.
You really don't get along. See, we get along. We do need border security. And I've always said, we all want to go to the same place. It's just we're differing on how we think we're going to get there. But in fairness to Trump, he's talked about this from jump. The other side, the Republicans and the Democrats, have ignored this for a long time. And so that's on them as much as anybody else. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us, and you can text the program as well. I got a question up, and we're going to talk about the question here in a little bit. That to me, after talking with a bunch of people yesterday, it's just, it's interesting, the view that a lot of people have in this world right now. But if you haven't heard today, Time, which is a magazine that used to be very popular, but with the advent of technology and the dwindling sales of anything that's on paper that can't change and or we can't switch to something else, we basically ignored. But they did do something today as they counted it down to their Person of the Year.
Who will be Time's Person of the Year for 2018?
And now we can reveal the runners-up. Robert Mueller, the special counsel, is your number 3 choice for most influential, the Person of the Year.
Mueller has had a remarkable, methodical year. He's charged about 36 people and entities with almost 200 crimes, laid out in page-turning detail the nature of the Russian influence campaign in 2016. But there's still a lot of questions yet to be answered, and it may well be the big story of 2019. We'll see.
It may be the big story of 19. So number 3 is Bobby Mueller there. Number 2.
The number 2 pick, President Donald Trump. Why is he your number 2 pick?
There's always a strong case for the president of the United States, and particularly this president, who has upended alliances, changed immigration policy, reshaped the Supreme Court, showed the weaknesses in our system. But it was also a year when the system fought back, obviously in the House and other parts of the country in the midterm elections. And there we are.
All right, there we are. So that leads, we got 3, Bob Mueller, 2, Donnie Trump, right? The Donald. Number 1.
This year, it's not a person, it's a group of people that you're calling the Guardian.
As we looked at the choices, it became clear that the manipulation and abuse of truth is really the common thread in so many of this year's major stories, from Russia to Riyadh to Silicon Valley. And so we chose to highlight 4 individuals and 1 group who have taken great risks in pursuit of greater truth, starting with Jamal Khashoggi.
Yeah, so it's the Guardians of Truth, if you will. It's not the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the Guardians of Truth, who are journalists who have been persecuted and or killed.
This is the first time we've ever chosen someone no longer alive as Person of the Year, but it's also very rare that a person's influence grows so immensely in death. And his murder has prompted a global reassessment of the Saudi crown prince and a really long overdue look at the devastating war in Yemen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So those are your top 3. And I don't know what's going to be next year, right? Is it going to be Bob Mueller? Is it going to be Donald Trump? Is it going to be President Mike Pence? What? This was funny today. I heard this, and this is Jennifer Rubin talking about what potentially could happen and what she sees that potentially could happen as we head into next year and towards the end of Trump's presidency. All right, so Trump's presidency. This is what she thinks. She's conservative, mind you. She's a conservative journalist. What she thinks may happen.
Democrats are going to be presented with a really hard decision. There's going to be a lot of evidence of impeachable offenses in a variety of contexts. And what do they do then? You do have a moral obligation, a constitutional obligation to proceed. But on the other hand, I agree entirely with EJ that it would be politically unwise. You wouldn't be able to remove him, and it would infuriate a good chunk of the American people.
All right. So that's very true. But what if Trump decided to pull a fast one?
I also don't think that Trump can pardon himself. And if he tries that, and that's his only mechanism, he risks being prosecuted after he leaves office. For that very reason, I would predict that when Trump leaves office, he will resign the presidency 10 minutes before Mike Pence leaves office, allowing Pence to pardon him if there is not a Republican president to follow him.
Wow,
so,
we got
I say 6 months before. I think Trump thinks he gets done everything, looks at Pence, goes, hey, do you want to take this thing home? You want to take this thing home? You want to land this big dog? Is that what you want? You want to land this thing? Because if he did do it a few minutes before, And this is all, of course, is if he doesn't run again and he doesn't win. I don't know. It sounds like, oh, wow, could that really happen? It could happen. Will it happen? No, I don't think it will happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. And I don't think Trump's going to be prosecuted for anything. Well, he likes women, right? Like he says a little bit about all the women and stuff. Yeah, and who cares? Right? Like, I'm not married to him. Right? Are you? No. So that's on him. But I also look at the Republicans and say, you guys sold your soul for a guy out there, so you can never come at us with the morality game again because you were willing to get in bed with somebody who you like the way he fought, but you didn't like the way he fought. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Hey, when quality matters, and it should always matter, especially when it comes to your meat, there's only one place to go, ButcherBox. And you don't even go anywhere. You just go on the web. And then it goes to you. No antibiotics or hormones ever. Humanely raised. Grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Organic free-range and Roman chickens. And the best pork around. Sourced from pigs raised to keep their fat and their flavor. Yeah, impossible to find cuts right here. They're possible and less than $6 a meal for a month's worth of food. You're not going to find a better deal anywhere. You're going to love it. Now, this is what they're doing for my listeners. It's limited time, perfect for Christmas. You can get $40 off when you sign up at butcherbox.com/Chad. They're going to throw $20 off your first box, $20 off your second box, plus to sweeten the deal, and it is a sweetener indeed, kids. Free bacon with your first box. Boom! That blow your mind? It should. How do you get this amazing deal? Butcherbox.com/Chad. Butcherbox.com/Chad. $40 off. 20 off the first two. And they're going to throw in some bacon to sweeten the deal. Butcherbox.com/Chad. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, ChadBenson. Chad Benson Show.
Serving up talk radio medium rare and dripping with irony. It's Chad Benson.
It seems from the French authorities that a gunman is still on the run. This is an incident that took place in the centre of the French city of Strasbourg, around about the Christmas market, right in the centre. The heart of the city is actually on an island.
Yeah, Strasbourg is beautiful. And now, depending on the reports, 4 dead, 12 injured, 6 critical, 6 minor injuries. The gunman's still at large, and it is just a crazy situation. So a lot of times in Europe, what they have is, when I was in England, we used to have late night shopping. So, because places weren't open on Sundays. Now that's changed a lot over the last 2 decades. But when I first went there, they didn't have Sunday shopping. You only had Saturday shopping, and there was, like the grocery store would be open. And then they would once or twice a week during the holidays, they would have late night shopping, which means they would keep places open till, 8 or 9. But as they become more like consumerish, that's changed a lot. It's become more Americanized, if you will. But a lot of what happens is you go to these Christmas fairs and you have these bazaars and all these neat things, and it's really incredible. And lo and behold, somebody rolls up in beautiful Strasbourg and starts blasting away, eerily similar to what took place in Germany a few years ago.
Ever since the Paris attacks a few years ago, the Christmas market in Strasbourg has had very heavy security. In fact, to get into the market, to get onto the island, you have to go through security, airport-style security checks.
Yeah, and but yet somebody still got in, and they say they can't find him. He's still at large. Horrible situation there in Paris. And you got to think about this, too, what Paris is going through with the yellow vest and the rioters and the things that have been happening there as they go up against President Macron and his taxes for the fuels and the anger that people have had and the destruction. You would have thought it would maybe even be amped up a little bit more, even though that's Paris. People are still marching all over the country. It's a horrible situation. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Got a question of the day. Are you angry? Because it's really interesting, because I hear how angry we are as a group. We're just the angriest. Oh, we're angry. Yet I don't know too many angry people. And if you are angry, what are you angry about? Right now, 11% of you say you're angry. 57% said, no, I'm happy. And 32% of you say depends on the day. A lot of people texting and tweeting saying, you know what I'm angry, Chad? I'm angry when I'm driving. That is, I got a lot of that. So you can text the program, 323-538-CHAD, or tweet at me at Chad Benson Show, just like we do every single day. Does not matter. We like to give you something that makes you smile a little bit, and you can use it on the street, kids. And if you say, where'd you get that? Say the Chad Benson Show gave it to us. It's your urban word of the day.
It's time for the urban word of the day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban word of the day.
I love this one. Mistake holder. Mistake holder. That's somebody who's got a vested interest in a topic, but the reality is all of their facts and everything and information is completely wrong. Right? They're in it. They're in it to win it. They got everything going on. Right? And think about this for you people who understand Animal House. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? That's right there. Kind of true as far as Pearl Harbor was bombed, but the reality is it wasn't the Germans, so kind of the information's a mess. And there's a lot of people out there who talk a big game. Mistake holder is your urban word of the day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the urban word of the day. We damn stretched your cranium.
So I'm just going to point something out to him. And I showed producer Phil. I sent it to him, but I am pissed because over the weekend, something happened to my cat. And so we ended up taking to emergency vet. We spent all week. We were at the vet all weekend long. Then finally we get into a vet that can look at him in a way to see what kind of surgery he needs. And I keep saying, I think he was shot. He was shot. Some clown, some a-hole shot my cat. And now we have to amputate my cat's leg. And I am beyond pissed because of some loser white trash freak that lives around my neighborhood. I'm going to find you. And when I do, I'm going to bring the cat, and he's going to shoot you. I'm going to get him his own gun. So get ready for it. It's going to be a pellet gun. He's going to shoot you in the ass. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You're bragging about what has been done.
By us.
We want to do the same thing we did last year, this year. That's our proposal. If it's good then, it's good now, and it won't shut down the government.
Chuck, we can build a
But
much bigger section
let's
with
debate,
more money.
Let's debate in private. Okay? Yeah, let's debate in private.
We need border security. I think we all agree that we need border security.
Yes,
Is that
we
right?
do.
Good.
We do.
See? We get along.
They really don't get along. At least not right now. Again, with Trump, it's a love-hate relationship. Sometimes you like him, sometimes you don't. It was interesting to watch them go at each other. It was interesting to watch them fight. But the reality is in the 21st, which is next Friday, there's going to be a shutdown. And Trump is totally cool with that. He's like, it is what it is. I'll take it. I'll take it. You want to be mad at somebody? Be mad at me. He doesn't care. He didn't care about the Republicans and how they're going to look. He doesn't care how he's going to look. So he's willing to take it on himself and say, you know what? It is what it is. I'll take it.
I'm sort of hoping for a Christmas miracle here that we'll have a level of cooperation that we don't normally have in getting bills across the Senate floor.
I'm hoping for a Christmas miracle as well, Mitch.
With maximum cooperation, magic things happen at Christmas, and that's what I'm counting on.
Oh, Mitch McConnell. He is just a funny guy, isn't he? He's like nonstop hilarity. He is. He is. People are asking me, because before I went to break, I was saying somebody shot my cat over the weekend, and now they're going to have to amputate his leg. And it's really pissing me off. It's like, that really happened. It really happened. Comes in, he's meowing at the door. Open the door. It's like, oh, my God. His little leg's dangling there, and he's bleeding. And we spent all day in the emergency room. We've got to go to a special vet. And the vet's like, I can't do anything. We're going to take it off. And I'm like, I'm going to find that SOB. Right? Live in a bit of a ruralish area. but it's not so rural as the people are out there shooting. And it was one of those like hardcore airsoft kind of like, definitely not just the Red Ryder BB gun that shot him, but it shattered his fibula, and there's nothing they're going to be able to do. Speaking of shattered dreams for old Stormy.
In his ruling here in L.A., Judge James Otero is ordering Stormy Daniels to pay President Trump $292,000 in legal fees. This is a result of a lawsuit that was dismissed in November in which Daniels claimed President Trump defamed her in a tweet. Daniels and her attorney, Michael Avenatti, have a pending appeal in the case.
Yeah. She's going to have to pay $293,000, which means she's going to be, she should ask Trump, can I give you these in sweaty, single, sparkly ones? They're shame dollars. Chad, you're such a jerk. I'm just kidding. She's a wonderful human being. I think we all know that. She is fantastic. So today on the Hill, it was an interesting day because you had the CEO of Google there. And we'll get deeper into what he said. But somebody else made a surprise appearance there at the hearing. Didn't get into the hearing, but was outside with all of the cameras.
Evil. Google is 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 evil. Google.
Yeah, that's the one and only. Doesn't get any better. Alex Jones, who was there. And here's the thing. I can't stand Alex Jones, right? His show is or whatever. I never got into any of that stuff. Conspiracy theory. He goes out and spreads all of these wacky things that are out there. He plays the game. And the sad thing is part of that is our fault because you can't, if you're a normal person who wants to have a real conversation in politics, you're never going to be able to have a real conversation where you're going to get anybody else's attention. Because unless you say wacky crap that is just off the wall, nobody's paying attention. He is a showman, and he's a provocateur. He's a clown. But I think some of the things he said today, I think, yeah, you know what? Maybe people should have fought a little harder. Maybe they should. Maybe there's something to this Google and the way that they're doing things, and it is their platform. They can do whatever the hell they want. I got no problems with it. And I've talked to a lot of people on both sides of the aisle who have no problems with it. The problem is, and this is where the right gets upset, is they never feel like it's the same punishment. You say something awful, and you're off. Or something that's perceived hateful and awful, and you're in trouble. On the other side, somebody says something awful and nothing happens to them, and that's why people get pissed. And I've talked to a lot of people, big people in the business, who feel like maybe they should have stood up a little harder against Google and pushed back a little bit more because the fear is, even though Alex Jones is, I think he's kind of a buffoon, right? And I think, from the Sandy Hook stuff to all this other stuff that he throws out there, I would rather let the American people and the public decide rather than everybody else.
Google is siding with the communist Chinese against America. Google's helping arrest Chinese dissidents, Christians and Buddhists. Google is evil. Google is going to lie again and violate the law and violate those of others.
So the police officer says, shut up! I've had enough of you. He's like, just be quiet.
You're in a hallway, in a public hallway. You can be arrested. That's enough. You're making too much noise.
So Google's not evil, officer?
I'm not saying that. Just control yourself.
Okay.
Get under control now.
I'm under control, officer. Thank you.
What do you mean? I'm under control. Officer, let me tell you something right now. You don't understand. That's not even a real human being in there. It's not. That is not a human being. Officer, that is a fish guy. He's a fish guy in the other room telling the world all of these things when really spreading fish guy hate is what he's doing. Fish guy hate. And it's against me. Not a fish guy. American, human being, right here. But here's the thing with Alex Jones, now Milo Yiannopoulos, or whatever they called him on the paper.
YOLO Minneapolis.
YOLO Minneapolis, which is a great name. They're being froze out. Their world is, money-wise, is a struggle. Because it's not just the fact that they've deplatformed him off all of these things. You can't get his apps anywhere else unless you can find him. He can't do the things that he wants. His audience is shrinking. He'll still have a base somewhat. He still do okay-ish for a while. But you can't, you go to the Apple store. If you are in any way, shape, or form part of the hate, and that's why when Tim Cook came out and talked about hate, we don't hate on any of our platforms, that means if they say, hey, you got a Chad Benson Show app and we don't like you, we think you continue to push hate and you have bad ideas and whatever reason we don't like you, we're going to now take you off our platforms. And that includes any of your podcasts, that includes any of your of apps or anything else like that you have. We're taking it completely off it. And that's an issue, I think, for a lot of people. Absolutely. And they're blacklisting him to the point where he's going to have, they're basically draining his pond.
I just was, he's taking my free speech away and lied about me, so I need to stand up to him.
I'm not worried about that
And if they're going to talk about me in this committee, they're going to talk about me in this committee. I will be talked about. So what am I supposed to do? I don't get a day in court. They lie about me. Google only puts lies up. All the top searches are lies about me and my family. And that guy helps round up political dissidents, and then his people come to lie to Congress over and over and over again, and we don't get to respond to them.
No, we don't. We don't get to respond to them. It's ridiculous. I'm telling you guys now, fish people. That's a fish guy. You guys don't think he's a fish guy? He's a fish guy. He couldn't get more fish. You smell that? Fish guy. Fish guy. It's not a human being. It's fish guy. I look at him and he's a buffoon. But he's a hell of a showman. I don't like the things he does, but when I talk about this every once in a while, when I was out at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, he was everywhere. Planes were flying overhead, billboards everywhere. Every bus had his face on it. He had a bunch of people with him. It was a big splash, and it was crazy. And he's a showman. He is absolutely a showman. I don't like the stuff that he shows, but that is what it is. And now he's being froze out everywhere. And is that the world we want to live in? But it is their business. They're able to do what they want to do. Right? They're able to do whatever it is that they want to do. But sometimes I'm thinking to myself, are you nanny stating us? Because you're not going to allow people to make up their own mind. You're going to make it up for them. And that's 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Man, I can't even believe it. It is just insane. I'm telling you guys right now, fish people is what's going on here. Fish people. Of all the people that are fish people, that's a fish person in there. You know over there, that's not even a fish person. That right there, that's a Gila monster man. Over there, lady, yeah, she's a frog person. Not real. Come from different places. 9/11 inside job because of these people. That's the stuff he says. And you're like, oh, crazy. But if you buy into it, aren't you looking for something if you're buying into something like that? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Text the program. Love hearing from you. I do. AMAC's amazing. What if I just tell you can join today for free? 1 year free. They're not even asking for a credit card. It's amazing. You go there. They don't want your credit card. Go to amac.us/Chad. If you're looking at Medicare and you go through the open enrollment, you're struggling with it, guess what? Senior Resource Network and AMAC have partnered together. You're going to have your own dedicated agent to help you. Travel, retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, check. It's all right in front of you. Great things like amusement park discounts, big time to Disney and SeaWorld, Legoland, things like that. How about this? 40% off movie tickets. Boom. That's what AMAC is doing for you. Politically advocating on your behalf for Social Security, immigration reform, things of that nature. And on top of that, giving you benefits like you could not believe. Join today, 1 year free. They don't even want your credit card. Go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. amac.us/Chad. AMAC is better for you, better for America. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Delta making a change to the way they're doing your tickets, plus the way that you can bring an animal on the airplane. Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
Emotional support animals will no longer be allowed on any Delta Airlines flight longer than 8 hours. And puppies, even those that are trained service animals, if they're under 4 months old, won't be allowed in the cabin of any Delta flight. Airlines have had to crack down as passengers have been claiming their pets are there for emotional support, allowing them to be in the cabin and to avoid paying pet carriage fees.
Oh, what? Yeah, so no more of that. Now, Delta didn't stop there. So they thought, hey, now that we're doing this, let's roll something out this time of year that's going to confuse everybody. But we're not going to roll it out till January. But it's still going to confuse everybody. And it's the way that people are going to board. Now, there's going to be a test afterwards, so get ready. Okay, so starting first with Delta, if you fly Delta, and I've flown Delta on many occasions, passengers that need extra time will go first. Then, premium passengers sitting in its Delta One suites, applicable on selected domestic and international flights. Okay, so that's all international flights and domestic flights. Then, new premium select cabin on some international flights or first class on domestic flights. Now, here's where the fun starts. Sky Priority Zone passengers sitting in Comfort Plus and Gold and Platinum Medallion members together. That group then will be split into two, with Comfort Plus passengers boarding first, followed by Sky Priority, meaning high-spending members of its frequent flyer program will have to wait just a smidge longer. Following that, Delta will board economy passengers by saying, any of you yahoos who haven't done any of this other stuff, you can come through. And then it'll be Zone 4, which is basic economy, saying, look, there's a chance that you may be strapped to the top of the airplane, so here's a jacket. Good luck to you all. Delta. We love to fly. Is that them? We love to fly. I don't even know which one's which anymore. They're all kind of the same. They are. I flew Southwest a couple weeks ago, or a week ago. I had no problems with them. I haven't had too many problems with flight, but it is amazing to me that people still don't go get their TSA thing, especially if you fly more than 2 or 3 times a year, just because, it's easy to get through that lane where it's just walk through. Now, speaking of travel, it is the holiday season. People get stressed. There's some rules on how you should and shouldn't be traveling.
The thing that you've got to start with is remember, the simplest thing you can do is remember 3-1-1.
What is that?
One person, 1 quart bag, 3 ounces is the size of everything in it. For your carry-on, this is how to get your toiletries in. That quart bag, bit like a Ziploc. If you don't have that, you won't be able to get through the security checkpoint. Bring a few extra in case someone else hasn't done it, because you can speed up the line for everybody.
Okay, that's good, right? So that's good. Now, here's the thing. This I like, but it's weird because I've also seen it backfire on people, which is what if things go a little south, you want to call somebody, hold on a second.
Take to Twitter. Be polite, remember, no shouting, no screaming. But tweet at an airline and say, hello, I've got a problem. Then they will deal with it in private on your DMs. Then they can publicly say, we're so glad we helped you, and they've got a PR win. It's much quicker than a phone call, and you will have much less stress.
Yes, big time. Big time. But I've seen it backfire on a few friends of mine who work in the entertainment industry. And one of them lost their jobs because they tweeted something about an airline, and it wasn't even specifically about the airline they were on. that was just nondescript, but they saw it, didn't like it, ended up backfiring them. That's not good. But if you're just a normal passenger, I guess that's okay. And this one is vitally important.
I think it's that a lot of us, we're too fast. We try to get there at the 11th hour, get there really early. The more time you have, the more relaxed you are. Now this, rental cars, if you're a member of BJ's, Costco, any of those warehouse clubs, they have travel clubs. So you could get discounts on car rentals, on hotels, which you already pay for, but you might not know are there.
There you go. Simple and easy. And get there early, especially this time of year, people. I can't stress that enough. Especially if you can't get through the line fast. And it is already, I mean, we've got our placebo effect, which is the TSA, but, they're awful. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. I do. Are you angry? That's our Twitter poll question today. I'm asking people, are you angry? Because I hear that we're all angry. And even though somebody shot my cat and I'm pissed, my cat's going to be okay. He's going to have 3 legs. He's going to have a great life. He's only a year old. But I'm angry at the person, but just I'm not angry. I mean, I'm going to be when I find the guy and I give the cat a crossbow. He's going to be so good at that. He's going to be awesome. I'm just letting you know. You'll hear about it in the news. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Yes, if we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And
We
I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck.
Chuck, look at me, Chuck, right here. This is where you're looking, Chuck, look at me, because it was so funny the way he was doing that with because he was getting into it. And then there's poor Pence, right? Like Pence is sitting there and I'm like, oh, wow. He's just happy to be in the room. We'll come back to you in a minute, Chucky, right? But Pence, you okay? You need anything? I know you got a chair. You excited? All right. But they were going at it. It was happening, right? And here's the thing. He's fine with it. He owns it. He's okay with it.
I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And
We
I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you
disagree.
what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security.
He's proud. He's proud to do it. He's going to own it. He's okay with that. I got no problem with that. If that's what you want. Go for it. I look at the border, and Nancy Pelosi came out afterwards, and I guess she said to one of her aides, which was leaked out, this whole thing is about his manhood. This wall is about his manhood. And I chuckled a little bit. I did. Not going to lie to you. I'm like, look at you, Nancy. Every once in a while you come out with a zinger. But the reality is it's $5 billion. How much money do we spend on all kinds of crap all the time? How many useless programs do we have? How many things have we bought that are a waste of time? And this is where it's about the look for the Democrats. Can't build a wall. Shouldn't build a wall. It's evil if you build a wall. Don't build a wall. I look at it and say, yeah, go ahead, build your wall. I don't think it's going to stop anything. I know a lot of other people think, it's going to stop everybody. Stop the Mongolians. Well, I'm going to go out there and say that this is going to be a little bit easier, but whatever. It is what it is. The drugs, all the stuff happening, blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. He thinks he's got the votes. Pelosi's saying, you don't have it.
It doesn't help for me to take a vote in the House where I will win easily with the Republicans. It doesn't help to take that vote because I'm not going to get the vote of the Senate. I need 10 senators. That's the problem.
You have the White House, you have the Senate.
And the House would give me the vote if I wanted it. But I can't because I need 10 votes from Chuck.
All right, let me say something here.
Let me just say one thing. The fact is, you do not have the votes in the House.
Nancy, I do.
No, you don't. Hold on a second. What do you think, Mike? Pence? You okay? You okay? Blink once if you're doing okay, twice if you're being held hostage. He looked like he was being held hostage, right? He did. He looked like it. So he says he's going to own it. They're okay with it. Because for the first time ever, it's not like the Republicans can go. Because the fact is, he didn't care about the Republicans. And I've been telling everybody, he's a Trumpian. He's not a Republican in the traditional sense. I think we know that. He's a Trumpian. He's doing his own thing, and he is willing to own. This has been his, like, I'm building a wall. I got no problem with you building a wall. You said Mexico was going to pay for it. I said the other day, I said, I agree with what Nancy said. She said, you said Mexico was going to pay for it. You said that they were going to pay for it. Now you want $5 billion. Go crowdfund, do whatever you need to do, figure it out, cut a deal with Mexico in some way, shape, or form by cutting trade deals or certain things. If you want to get that extra money somewhere, I got no problem with that. But you said they were going to pay for it. Somebody's like, I get several people like, that's a lie. He never said Mexico. No, he said Mexico was going to pay for it. So knock yourself out. Go for it. But here's the thing. He didn't care about the Republicans and how they look. And he doesn't care how the Democrats look. He's willing to say, it's mine. It's mine.
You're bragging about what has been done.
By us.
We want to do the same thing we did last year, this year. That's our proposal. If it's good then, it's good now, and it won't shut down the government.
Chuck, we can build a
But
much bigger section
let's
with
debate.
more money.
Let's debate in private. Okay? Yeah. Let's debate in private.
We need border security. I think we all agree that we need border security.
Yes,
Is that
we
right?
do.
Good.
We do.
See? We get along.
You really don't get along. And you need border security. Everybody says, oh, we all need border security. It's just, how do we get there? Right? That's the way it goes. How do we get from point A to point B when it comes to border security? I want border security across the board. And by border security, I mean the oceans, the ports, the airports where people come through on a daily basis. And yes, the border itself, not just one. It is what it is. Today it was theatrics. It was reality television. It was reality television, and that's what we saw right there. Just people screaming and yelling and them fighting and the whole 9 yards. And the entire time that is going on, there's poor Mike Pence just sitting there with us, not even sure probably why he's even there. Don't even know where. He's probably thinking to himself, I don't even know why I'm here. I don't even know where I'm at right now. I really don't. Because I am high. That's not.
Mike Pence looks like he's at a strip club. He's horrified. He's just like,
I want whatever he's taken. That's some kind of zen.
And what's amazing is he can keep his entire body so perfectly still. We see slight movement in the head.
Incredible. Phil Rucker, did he say anything? Did we miss it? Did he say anything?
Incredible posture.
I was saying that. I was like, I'm watching it the entire time. This is all going on. And they're arguing, they're fighting the entire time this is all happening. This is Mike Pence. He's not said a word. He's just sitting right there. There's Mike. He's not saying anything. He's not moving. He's not blinking. He's doing nothing. And I was like, wow, look at that. Oh, my Lord. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. Do love hearing from you. Got a poll question up. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Stormy Daniels. So you got all the things going on, and he paid off and this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? He did pay off. She signed something. She broke that, and she's going to have to pay.
In his ruling here in L.A., Judge James Otero is ordering Stormy Daniels to pay President Trump $292,000 in legal fees. This is a result of a lawsuit that was dismissed in November in which Daniels claimed President Trump defamed her in a tweet. Daniels and her attorney, Michael Avenatti, have a pending appeal in the case.
Yeah, $293,000 is what they're going to have to shell out. And because it's not a big deal to Trump, they're going to fight it across the board. Because that's what Trump does. That's it. That is what Trump does. He's got the money. He'll treat it like an act of attrition, and he will just continue to push, because, well, that's Trump. right? And especially now, if you feel like you got nothing to lose, then why not do what you're doing, right? Why not push? And he's going to continue to push with them because he feels like, and we've talked about it with him, he has a long memory. And it's out, and it's embarrassed him, so you might as well go in strong and long. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me, and do love hearing from you. Got a poll question up today. Are you angry? I'm angry right now for a specific reason. Like, I'm not angry about any of this stuff. We're talking about things, but somebody shot my cat with like a high-powered like BB gun or pellet gun and shattered his femur. Now on Thursday he's going to have his leg amputated, and I'm pissed about that. I'm angry, but I'm not angry in general. I'm not angry at the world. I'm not pissed off. I'm none of those things. But I hear all the time how angry we are in America, pissed we are towards one another. And oftentimes I think words, especially on Twitter and stuff like that, it comes across angry. You can tell who's angry and who's trolling and probably has a smirk and then turns around and walks away and laughs. There are some angry people out there, but how angry are we really? I want to hear from you. 323-538-CHAD, 323-538-2423, or at Chad Benson Show. There's your Twitter. How angry are you? According to the poll today, not too angry, actually. 11% you say you're angry. 57% says, nope, I am happy. And 32% say depends on the day. And I get that. Maybe you're, woke up with a bad day, just pissed off about something, you stub your toe, whatever it is, road rage. I get that. I think it's situational in some senses, and that's okay. It's a healthy thing to be angry at times. It is. But are you just angry in general? Does politics drive you crazy? And some people say, oh, politics, it's the left, it's this. Yeah, doesn't drive me crazy. Makes me laugh, but doesn't drive me crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We're going to talk a little Google coming up because Google was in the crosshairs, if you will, politically today on the Hill. We're going to talk about that, what they're talking about. Also, Christmas time, money, stress, it's all out there. We got some tips for you straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
That's me. Text the program, 323-538-2423, 323-538-CHAD. People texting in, Chad, I want the wall because it's going to slow down drugs. It's not. It's not going to slow down the flow of drugs. You think it is. And while there's a lot coming in, our ports are just as bad, if not worse. And same thing with our mail. Until we stop consuming, and what we may do is we may give them a reason to even raise prices because it's much more dangerous now. Prices going up. So I know a lot of people think, oh, this is going to, it's not. It's not going to. They will find a way to get the drugs here. They will. They'll mass produce it in a way that we've never seen, and they'll just go, well, we're going to send so much it over. And in so many different ways that even if you catch some of it, it won't matter because you're not going to catch it all. Christmas time, 2 weeks away from Christmas. People still out doing their shopping. A lot of people stressed out about it. It's about doing the right thing with money because I think at times we get a little crazy, right? Guilty. Family, friends, right here, hand up in the air. Do it sometimes. I love Christmas, and Jack is, we're spoiled this year. But there are some tips out there of things that you should be saying, okay, how do I avoid the stress and the spending?
My first tip overall is control the things that you can control. And starting with buy stuff online and pick it up in stores. Research shows the thing that stresses us out most about shopping is waiting in line, followed with getting to the store and realizing what you want is not there. So shop online, get it in the store.
Then you don't have to stress out if it's going to arrive on time either.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's big. Right, that is really, really big because all of us have ordered something now for our kids or family or something like that. that we think, it says it's going to be here by the 19th, or it says it's going to be here the 21st, and then you find out, they're going to get that weird thing, say, it'll become between the 22nd and the 24th, and then you're like, Johnny, guess what? It sucks. So sorry about that. Here's another tip for you, and this is a big one.
A survey out just yesterday from NerdWallet shows that the average family with credit card debt is revolving about $7,000 a year. That is tough to take. So try to pay in other ways. Everybody has gift cards lying in drawers. Use them. Use your frequent flyer miles. Or agree with your friends that you're not going to go over a certain limit.
Okay.
All right, so there's that, which is always good, right? I think a limit is good. But I always say, I'm only going to spend this much. And then I always spend a little bit more. Well, I found a great deal, or I found this, or I found that, or it's just, and sometimes you can't, and I'm a guy, I just can't pass up a deal. I look at someone like, I can't pass that deal up. That's a deal for me. That is a deal for me. And finally, and then again, we're spending money. It's Christmas time. We get stressed out a little bit. Take a deep breath. And this time of year, there's a reason, especially right now, why some people, and I talk to a guy every day who flips out about this.
Don't watch the markets.
Well, the markets are stressing everybody out because they've been so volatile. So look at your mix of your investments. Make sure it's appropriate. If you're in a target date fund, it's doing it for you. Otherwise, take 100 minus your age. That's the amount you want in stocks, and don't watch on a daily basis.
Yeah, I have a guy that I work with who is obsessed with his 401k and his retirement. A little bit older. But it's just watching nonstop, watching. Did you see? And I'm like, take a deep breath. Be all right. It's a long-term play because you're not that old that you're getting into it tomorrow. And if it goes down to like 5, then worry. At this point in time, just relax. But it can't. People get obsessed with it. When I was a broker, we get people all the time that would be completely obsessed. Like, they would make a trade, and then they would call like 10 minutes later. And they would sit there and watch it. They would refresh the screen over and over again. And a lot of times the trades that they made, they were going to be long-term trades. They weren't there. And you could always tell who had a ton of money, because they would make a big trade and you never hear from them again. And they'd be making a ton of money in the market, and you try to get a hold of them, you could never get a hold of them. And then the market would go south, and you're like, I tried 50 times. Like, yeah, it is what it is. But sometimes people get so obsessed, and you just cannot do that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. I do love hearing from you. All right, kids. We just need a good story, right? We need a good story. This, kids, is a good story.
The mystery passenger who gave up his first-class seat to Philadelphia. Kelsey Ray Zwick and her daughter Lucy were traveling from Orlando to Philly for treatment at Children's Hospital. Zwick says she'd already boarded when an attendant told her a passenger in first class wanted to switch, adding, I cried my way up the aisle while my daughter Lucy laughed. She felt it in her bones, too, real pure goodness. I smiled and thanked you as we switched, but didn't get to thank you properly.
I think that's a great story. Right? That is a great story right there. She's got chronic lung disease. He sees it. He says, you know what? I'll go sit back there with the commoners. This will be a good thing. And I like the fact that we don't know his name. I like the fact because too often, whether it's Kid Rock or Tyler Perry and a bunch of other people that go and they pay off layaway items and that stuff gets out there. This is just a quiet thing, and something little like that just makes somebody's day. I think that's awesome. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Let's talk a little Google on Capitol Hill today. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I'm incredibly proud of what Google does to empower people around the world, especially here in the U.S.
Sundar Pichai right there. He's the CEO of Google. Google's on Capitol Hill for a lot of reasons today. And look, it's interesting. First and foremost, you look at Google, and we all use Google. We do. I use Firefox. And then when Firefox, I go straight to, what would be some of the other things you would use? And like Ask Jeeves? Ask Jeeves, is that still around? Yahoo! Bing! No, we all use Google. We do. And they're asking all kinds of questions today on Capitol Hill about this Google and all of the things, not just whether or not you're stifling the right and making sure that you're keeping them down, but we got privacy issues.
Protecting the privacy and security of our users has long been an essential part of our mission. We've invested an enormous amount of work over the years to bring choice, transparency, and control to our users.
I don't know if transparency is really it. Now, we've always said if you're smart, you realize when you get something for free, you are getting something that you think is free, but the reality is somebody else is getting you and they're paying for you, right? And Google is a little bit creepy.
Google crosses the creepy line every day.
Before I explain the creepy line, let's review how we got here.
Allison, can you explain what internet is?
Larry Page and Sergey Brin decide they wanted to create the ultimate search engine for the internet.
Google put answers to your question on one page and ranked them.
Now, they had to figure out, how do we make money off this? All you do is track people's searches.
Yeah, track searches. Searches means there goes your privacy. There goes your privacy. There goes your data. Your data's out there floating around. You become essentially the bait.
Your search history is very, very informative. That's going to tell someone immediately whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you like one breakfast cereal versus another.
Then they could sell you to advertisers.
So they could hook up the umbrella makers with people searching for umbrellas, basically send you targeted ads. That is where Google gets more than 90% of its revenue.
Boom. You are the bait, right? You are the bait. That's what you are. Boom. It's that simple. And because of that, you become a profile, you become all of these things. They build essentially, just like they would for a serial killer or something like that, they build something based around you, which means your data's out there, which means your history's out there, which means it's not as private as a lot of people like to think it is going to be.
They sell you.
Fine, because they know about me. I get ads on my screen that might actually appeal to me. So what's the problem?
They are constructing a profile of you. And that profile is real, it's detailed, it's granular, and it never goes away.
Yeah, that's just it. Never goes away. So they're building something based on you. They're building you a virtual you inside of this machine to sell to the real you, whatever that is. Politics, pop culture, goodies, you name it, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to... They're not trying. They're doing that every single day. Every single day. And it's not just on that machine. It's on this here machine in your hand in particular.
Then Google wanted to know, what do people do when they're not online?
As soon as you connect to the internet, Android uploads to Google a complete history of where you've been that day.
So what? They're giving me information.
They are giving you information, but to the extent that somebody can do something for you, they can do something to you.
Boom. And that is it. And the question, they're up there today answering all kinds of questions. All kinds of questions. Some of the questions they're being asked, it's not just about privacy as in, your data for shopping. There's all kinds of questions they're asking about privacy across the board.
With Americans carrying their smartphones all day, every day, Google is able to collect an amount of information about its users that would even make the NSA blush.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what took place this past election and what they're talking about, there's questions about what's going on there.
We should examine what Google is doing to stop hostile foreign powers from using its platform to spread false information in order to harm our political discourse.
And they're up there today, getting hammered across the board. People asking questions. Are you unfairly targeting conservative groups? Is the bias coming through and it's so ridiculous? What is going on here with the data and the privacy? Yesterday saw, another 55 million people through your platform? There's all kinds of things going on. Maybe we should step in.
The question comes down to, are they abusing their power? And I think you can make a very important, powerful, compelling case that they are.
Media companies are regulated. Newspapers are regulated. Telecommunications providers are regulated.
But regulation often makes things worse for consumers. You want regulation? That's going to make it better?
I think one of the ways you deal with Google's market concentration and its massive control of search is put it under the same shackles that other media companies do.
Shackles aren't good.
No, they're not. But it is interesting. And do they want to be regulated? Probably not. Do I like regulation? No. Do I understand what I'm getting myself in when I go to these things like Facebook or Twitter or any of these things, that I am the bait, and because I'm the bait, I get to use your product for free? I get that. I do.
It does make a compelling case that these giant companies do creepy things.
There's what I call the creepy line, and the Google policy about a lot of these things is to get right up to the creepy line but not cross it.
Yeah. And they're going to find out today. What are you doing to protect everybody? What are you doing when it comes to not only data, but what's happening on the outside? Are you unduly punishing people who are conservative and keeping their content beat down? Questions that need to ask. Do we need to step in? Very interesting.
Another potential contender for White House Chief of Staff rushing to take his name off the list. This time, North Carolina Republican Congressman Mark Meadows says, quote, absolutely not.
Another candidate, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, who has told colleagues he is happy in his present job. OMB Director Mick Mulvaney, the AP is reporting today that he does not want the job. And then U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, who's told CBS he's entirely focused on his present job. So it looks like a lot of the candidates they're looking at don't want the job.
Now, Trump says
we are in no rush. Over a period of a week or two, or maybe less, we'll announce who it's going to be. But we have a lot of people that want the position.
Nobody you've ever heard of wants the position. Nobody you've ever heard of wants the position. David Axelrod came out and said this.
Yeah, I have one word for him, Anderson, Craigslist. I mean, nobody wants this job, and there's a reason for that. Who has left this administration, save maybe Nikki Haley, who has left this administration with their reputation intact? People watch what's going on, and more than that, they anticipate what the next couple of years are going to be like.
Yeah. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be you get in there. It's just like getting on an airplane and the pilot comes on and says, look, folks, we anticipate a extremely bumpy ride between here and 2020 or wherever this thing takes us. So, do understand that the captain is going to be keeping on the seatbelt sign for the entire time. It is going to be that way. It is absolutely going to be that way. Should totally put that on Craigslist.
So many Americans don't want this job. Trump might have to let a Mexican do it. You realize that, right? Like, he's going to pull up to Home Depot in a truck and be like, I need uno el chief of staffo. And one of the guys is going to be like, no, señor, deportación, por favor, deportación. It's better to leave.
Could have been better. Accent wasn't great. Could have been better. Accent wasn't spot on, but you get where I'm going. Could have been. Liked it. A for effort, right? Could have been better. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. I made a great article last night about Netflix, and that Netflix, like, the world that we live in right now is changing so fast. So something like Netflix comes along, and what could be a booming marketplace may soon dry up. And they were talking about that Netflix is losing its licenses to Disney, to Marvel products, to all of these things. They're going away because every one of these companies now goes, well, why we have this giant library stuff. Why would we want to license it out to them when we can do our own and control all of our own stuff? And Disney's launching its Disney X or whatever coming in, that's right, in 2019 or 2020. You've got Fox doing the same thing. All of them are going to be doing the same thing. That's why all of these companies like Netflix and Hulu are doing everything they can to come up with original content. Netflix is doing a better job, and they're still going to have some of the, they're still going to have some shows that aren't going to be locked up, but they paid $100 million for Friends basically for the next year, knowing it's going to go away. And when you look at what's popular on Netflix, like that's one of those things. A lot of these older shows, Grey's Anatomy, I don't know if that's older, I don't even know if it's still going on, is very popular. Friends is extremely popular. And so they've got to do everything to keep this. And they're worried that, all of these libraries are going to disappear sooner rather than later. And people will follow that wherever it goes. And that's why I said last week that it's becoming as expensive as cable. Because we have to spend okay, I want this over here, I want that, and then I want this, and then there's here, and all of a sudden you look up and go, if I would just have cable, I'm paying the same thing for 9 of these. I may have cut the cord, but I added 10 things. At $14.99, $9.99, $6.99, $5.99, it starts to add up. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Casper, going to help you get a better night's sleep. In fact, they're so sure about their product. They're so sure. And I'm sure about it too, because, man, I slept. My back doesn't hurt. My knees don't hurt. My hips don't hurt. They're so sure they're going to let you try it for 100 nights free, risk-free, in your own home. And if you don't like it, they're going to come. Bing, bing. You're going to go, I didn't like it. And they're going to say, here's your money back. We'll take it away. Don't even worry about trying to get in that itty-bitty box. Or you're like, how did that thing get in there? We'll handle it all. But you're not going to do that because you're going to try it. You're going to love it. It is incredible. It's going to ship right to your door. Tiny box. You try it. Wow. 35,000 5-star reviews across Casper, Google, and Amazon. It is a win-win for you. Sleep on the mattress is the best way to try it. Put it to the test. 100 nights, risk-free, in your own home. Go to Casper.com. Use code CHAD. Save $50 toward the purchase of selected mattresses. That's Casper.com, code CHAD. Save $50 right there. Casper.com, code CHAD. Terms and conditions apply. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what? Somebody smoking. Somebody said, wait, how do they know what sound the dinosaurs made in these movies? I said, damn. How do they know what sound the dinosaurs made?
Somebody could actually transcribe what the sounds sound like, and they just...
We don't know.
We ever been to the moon?
Nope. They ain't been on the moon.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that right there is Steph Curry. Was on the Ringer podcast. Andre Iguodala and Vince Carter and Kent Bazemore talking about that. And he says, no, we've never been to the moon. Not once. Never. It's never happened. We've never been to the moon. NASA's come out today and says, just to let you know, Steph, I know you're a great basketball player. We have been to the moon. If you want to see, we'll show you that we've been to the moon. Say, what? Look, a lot of people don't think we've been to the moon. A lot of people think the earth is flat. And for some people, I think Steph Curry's smart enough that if you showed him, and he'd get it. There are some people out there, even if you put them on the moon, if you shot them to the moon, they would not believe they're on the moon. They wouldn't. They wouldn't believe it. It's a parlor trick. I'm being played. Nope. Don't believe it. Say what?
And officers got the call around 3:45 Saturday afternoon. They found that a 9-year-old girl dialed 911 because she was upset that a parent had asked her to tidy up. Police are using this incident to reinforce the message to kids and adults that 911 should only be used in emergency cases.
Wow. So you called on mom and dad because you did not like the fact that they asked you to clean up your room. This is what happens when you want to be pals with your kids instead of dictators, right? Like if you were kind of Stalin-esque, you're not making that call. You're not. Like, WWSD, what would Stalin do? Oh, he'd probably not be thrilled by that.
Because she was mad at her parents for asking her to clean her room. While this might seem like a humorous story, authorities say calling the police for non-emergency situations is no laughing matter. They tie up phone lines at the communications center, waste taxpayer money, tie up law enforcement officers, and threaten lives.
You're now threatening the lives of other people that need the 911 assistance. So you're now taking a dispatcher away from taking a legitimate 911 call. So we're just asking parents and caregivers to sit down and speak to their children about the importance of 911 and why it should be used and when it should be used.
Boot. As you could tell, they were in Canada. Hey, let me tell you something about this. No. Don't do it, eh? Don't do it. God, I couldn't even imagine. Because today we were talking earlier about that father that he's being shamed because he made his daughter walk to school because she got kicked off the bus for bullying for a second time. And dad was teaching her a lesson. It's got like 25 million views. And I just, good. I could not even imagine calling the police on my parents unless there was something really criminal going on. Right. But kids, telling you, man, kids learn. So Time Magazine, for those of you again who don't know, Time, this is a piece of paper back in an olden day, long ago, when there was just CDs and DVDs, there was a thing called magazines, and in those magazines were words and pictures that did nothing but just sat there, and you read them, and you ingested them and digested them in their brain, and you took them in, and you understood all those kind of things, and Time was rather important. And they used to pick the man and person and woman of the year, and they've done that. But guess what? Esquire's got a little something else.
In 2018, Esquire writes, Tesla founder and CEO Elon Musk shot a car into outer space for no discernible reason. His Roadster is now orbiting the Earth. Musk also marketed a flamethrower, Esquire says, for no discernible reason. Then he smoked pot on a podcast.
I'm not a regular smoker of weed.
During which he described his mind like this.
It's like a never-ending explosion.
Musk also tweeted this year that he was planning to take Tesla private. He wasn't. He was fined $20 million. To Esquire, it all makes Musk 2018's dubious person of the year.
I think he's okay with that. He's a good time. And then at the same time, he's like one of those people who's like, you've got to take him in just spurts. All right, I've had enough. I've had my Elon time. That's good. I'm good for now. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You tweet at us. We've got a poll question up. Are you angry for just no reason? It's just an angry country. Take the poll question at Chad Benson Show. It is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Yes, if we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And
We
I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck.
Little catfight today in the old office there, huh? So Trump has Pelosi and Chuck in, right? They're in there, and they're giving as good as they get, and they're just going toe-to-toe, and there's like 300 years of experience right there, and Mike Pence he's there, so there's that. So he's there. So there's Mike Pence, so he's right, like he's sitting there, and he's there. So like that's happening for Mike, right? Like that's good. He's like, hey, Mike, what are you doing today? Do you want to come sit next to me? But you can't talk. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. So they start going at it, and what's it over? It's, of course, over the wall, and the shutdown is coming sooner rather than later. We're looking at the 21st now. Get excited, kids. Get excited. Day after my birthday, we could have a government shutdown. People say, Chad, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, I really, really want a government shutdown.
We do not want to shut down the government.
I
you
want
have
one.
called 20 times to shut down the government. You say, I want to shut down the government. We don't. We want to come to an agreement. If we can't come to an agreement, we have solutions that will pass the House and Senate right now and will not shut down the government, and that's what we're urging you to do. Not threaten to shut down the government because let me just finish, because you can't get your way.
Yeah, that's politics nowadays. You want your way, he wants his way, and he's willing, proudly.
I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And
We
I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, the wall, right? In the end, it is about his wall. He wants his wall.
If he sticks to his position for a $5 billion wall, he will get no wall, and he will get a shutdown.
There you go. And he's okay with that. He's okay with that. And you could tell some today, neither, like Trump, Pelosi and Schumer like to throw a punch, like a lot of politicians, right and left. They like to throw a punch, and they don't like punches coming immediately back at them. And you could tell there was some uncomfortableness in there. You know, I mean, you could tell that they weren't happy with that.
You're bragging about what has been done.
By us.
We want to do the same thing we did last year, this year. That's our proposal. If it's good then, it's good now, and it won't shut down the government.
Chuck, we can build a
But that's
much
it.
bigger
Let's
section with
debate.
more money.
Let's debate in
Okay.
private. Okay? Yeah. Let's debate in private.
Yeah, she's like, let's stop down. And all the while this is going on, not a word from Mike Pence. Nothing. You know what I think Trump should do? I think it should be, I think every day at the Oval Office should be a talk show, right? It should be. Like somebody comes out, here's Donald, and he comes out and he does a monologue, whatever that thing's going to be. And then he sits down, and then he invites guests in, and next to him is Mike Pence, and he just sits there, and he doesn't say a word, and he laughs every once in a while, and maybe asks, maybe once in a great while, and he's got a band, and it'll be awesome. That'll be fun. I mean, we're at the point now where this is reality TV, so why can't we just go from there? And kudos to Nancy Pelosi here as they're sitting there arguing about some of this stuff. And, you know, look, last week she said, you said Mexico was going to pay for it. I've said the same thing. He promised us Mexico was going to pay for it. Are the votes there?
If we thought we were going to get it passed in the Senate, Nancy, we would do it immediately. We'd get it passed very easily in the House. We would get it, Nancy, I'd have it passed in 2 seconds. It doesn't matter, though, because we can't get it passed in the Senate because we need 10 Democrat votes. That's the problem.
Yeah, but there's no votes there, right? And that's what this is about. So this is what it is. He's going to own it. He's going to be fine with it. He's going to make them uncomfortable, and he's going to see if everybody's staring at him. And let's be, for just a second. First of all, it's asinine the way that at times both sides act. $5 billion, that's what you want? $5 billion? For the amount of money we've wasted, the fact that our debt and deficit is rising on a daily basis, you want $5 billion? That's it? You want $5 billion? That's what you want. What are we getting out of $5 billion? Are we getting guarantees? Are we getting any of these things? What exactly is going to happen here? But both sides are going to sit there, and they're going to dig their heels in, and they're going to fight it out. Nothing's going to get done. We'll have this big panic come next Thursday and Friday. Then you'll get a shutdown for a couple of days, and then they'll agree to push it out a little bit further. All the while they're building this up, they're going to be adding more pork and more crap and more this and more that to it. It's a joke. It is. It is an absolute unmitigated joke. I am so over it. I think most of you are over it. It is an absolute joke. I want a full overhaul, separate of whatever it is you guys are trying to do here. A full overhaul. Let's make this separate. I want to overhaul at the ports. I want to relook at the visas. I want all of these things, not just this. But today was theatrics. That's what it was. Theatrics. And both sides were acting out for their base. Nothing comes of it other than we're talking about it.
Let's see what all comes out. Let's see what all plays out. And let's not make any decisions in advance. Too many people want to make decisions early. The partisanship gets involved way too early. Let's let everything ride out. Let's get Mueller to finish up his case. He's been looking at this for 2 years. Clearly, there's no collusion. But let's see what the facts have, and let's move on.
Yeah, all of this stuff is going on, right? Was it collusion? Is it this? Is it that? People are trying to figure out exactly what in the hell is happening because while they're fighting, while they're arguing, while all of this other stuff's going on today, the reality is there's still this thing hanging out over everybody's head, and it's been going on, it seems like a while.
See if there was an issue. And let's face it, the American people want to be able to move past this as well. I think it's time to wrap this up. I've said this for the last year. He's had 2 years. I was a business guy for 28 years before I came here. By now, you would be telling your attorneys, let's wrap this up and see where we're at, because it is costing the American people money.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think it's going anywhere too fast, because I think Mueller is going to take his time, and it's going to continue to go on, and it's going to continue to go on, and it's going to continue to go on until he's ready to say, I think it's gone far enough, and I've got everything that I think I can get out of it, and everybody I think I could have squeezed, everybody I think I could have put in a headlock, everybody I think I could have done something for. And 2, I got it all. And that's it. And now here it is. And whether or not we see it, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see this thing, but man, the fact that we're still talking about it, the fact that we're still arguing about it, the fact that people are still discussing this ad nauseum on television is just, it's ridiculous. It really is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Time Magazine, for those of you guys who don't understand. So this is a piece of paper. Back in the day, long ago, young people, there were things called books and newspapers and magazines. And Time was a really respected magazine that many people got. And it was kind of like, wow. Now, in these things, there would be print and there would be pictures. Now, the pictures didn't do anything, right? You couldn't swipe them one way or another. You couldn't do any of that. Whatever was on there was on. It's like a tattoo. It's right there. And then you would read the article, and then you would turn the page. And Time was very well respected. Time still exists, kind of. And today they announced who their Person of the Year was. Number 3.
Who will be Time's Person of the Year for 2018?
And now we can reveal the runners-up. Robert Mueller, the special counsel, is your number 3 choice for most influential, the Person of the Year.
Mueller has had a remarkable, methodical year. He's charged about 36 people and entities with almost 200 crimes, laid out in page-turning detail the nature of the Russian influence campaign in 2016. But there's still a lot of questions yet to be answered, and it may well be the big story of 2019. We'll see.
Yeah, so it's a big year. Big year for Bobby. I call him Bobby. You guys call him what you want. I call him Bobby. We're tight like that, even though we've never met. And if he saw me, he'd be like, I have no idea who you are. Number 2, with a bullet.
The number 2 pick, President Donald Trump. Why is he your number 2 pick?
There's always a strong case for the President of the United States, and particularly this president, who has upended alliances, changed immigration policy, reshaped the Supreme Court, showed the weaknesses in our system. But it was also a year when the system fought back, obviously in the House and other parts of the country in the midterm elections. And there we are.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. And number 1, interesting, not a person, but persons.
This year, it's not a person, it's a group of people that you're calling the Guardian.
As we looked at the choices, it became clear that the manipulation and abuse of truth is really the common thread in so many of this year's major stories, from Russia to Riyadh to Silicon Valley. And so we chose to highlight 4 individuals and 1 group who have taken great risks in pursuit of greater truth, starting with Jamal Khashoggi.
Yes, Jamal Khashoggi, who, as we all know, isn't with us anymore because the Saudis, including the prince who's running everything over there, decided that he apparently was some sort of a great threat to the kingdom, and decided when he was visiting the embassy to get a marriage license in Turkey that maybe, just maybe, he shouldn't breathe anymore.
This is the first time we've ever chosen someone no longer alive as Person of the Year, but it's also very rare that a person's influence grows so immensely in death. And his murder has prompted a global reassessment of the Saudi crown prince and a really long overdue look at the devastating war in Yemen.
Yeah, which is just frightening. By the way, if you've not seen any of the stuff that's going on in Yemen, it is scary. Not just the war, but the famine is frightening. It really, it is. We're talking millions upon millions upon millions of people who are facing starvation on top of the fact that there's a nasty, de facto, crazy civil war / outside influences / it is absolutely awful. It is the potential for millions to die is right there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, MyPillow. Slept on my pillow last night. Put it right there in my head. Out I went. Slept great. It was incredible. And the deal they have for you right now. So it's Christmas time. You know somebody who doesn't sleep well. Maybe it's you. And you're saying to yourself, man, I would love to try one of those My Pillows. But no. Now is the time. Now is the time. You get 4 pillows, 2 premiums, 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Half the price, free shipping. Keep a couple for yourself. Give a couple out as presents. It's a win-win all the way around. And here's the great thing. Money back guarantee until March 1st, 2019. You're not going to find a deal like this anywhere else. You want a great night's sleep? You want the best? Just out you go. This is where it starts. 100% machine washable and dryable cotton, 10-year warranty, made in the USA, and a money back guarantee until March 1st. 2 premium pillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, half the price, free shipping. All you have to do is go to mypillow.com, use code Benson, mypillow.com, code Benson, or call 800-983-4975 or mypillow.com, promo code Benson. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, CHADBENSON, Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
Well, now the administration is looking for a new chief of staff to bring order to the White House and improve Trump's behavior, which explains their first choice, Mary Poppins. And actually, one of Mike Pence's aides was expected to replace Kelly, but he turned Trump down. You know you're a tough guy to work for when someone says, thanks, but I'd rather be stuck in a room all day with Mike Pence. So that's more fun for me. I heard that several of Trump's top choices don't want the position. At this point, the only job tougher to fill than chief of staff is host of the Oscars.
Oh, nobody wants the Oscar job. Nobody wants. They said this year they may go just little free form, they'll probably do some big musical numbers, and then it's just they're just gonna let people come on and nobody wants that job. Why would you want that job? Why would anybody want to host? Well, Chad, what if are you gonna call Billy Crystal? Hey, Billy, we know you've not been around since forever. Would you like to come out of retirement? I'm not retired. Well, we were surprised to find out you were still alive. But would you like to host the Oscars? It's great. Nobody watches anymore, and the movies are very artsy that nobody's... here's my prediction of what's going to win the Academy Award this year. Roma. That is what I think is going to win the Academy Award this year. Roma. What is that movie? It's set in the 1970s early in Mexico City. Roma is my prediction. Will I ever see it? Noah is what I'm saying there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. So we're asking the question today about anger. Are you angry? Because I hear how angry America is. We're all angry. And it's so funny. It's I hear how angry we are and how all of this stuff is. We're just so angry and all of blah, 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 blah. And yet I see that they can't get any of their crap together in Britain on something they voted on called the Brexit to exit the European Union. And they're fighting over there. And that just looks like a wah, wah, wah On the other side of it, you got the French who are arguing and fighting with the yellow vest because of the taxes. Now it's income inequality. Macron is like hiding somewhere. It's like, I cannot believe they're coming for me. And it's like, oh, that's crazy, but they are coming. They're not happy. They're angry because I put taxes on. Everyone wants clean air. But when I say we got to pay for it, they're like, no. So they're burning things in the street. We're not that angry. I mean, we're kind of that passive aggressive. You're a jerk. I wouldn't say that to your face, but I put it in all caps. So what are you angry about? A lot of people are angry about the way that Trump gets treated. I get that, right? You know, if you're on the right side of the aisle, you look at it and you say, a lot of other people are just, you know, they're angry on a situational thing. A lot of road rage out there. That I get, especially in traffic. I get road rage. I'm angry over stupid people, and it's not angry. It's more of a subtle anger / disappointment. It's more of like, because it cost me. I'm angry about the a-hole that shot my cat over the weekend that's now costing me a grip of money. I'm angry about that because I know probably who it was. That's angering me, but not really a super angry person. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Yes, if we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And
We
I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you
disagree.
what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. I'll do it, Chuck. Look at me, Chuck. It was weird watching them because Chuck was looking at Nancy. Nancy was looking at Chuck. And then you had the Cheshire Cat that is Mike Pence with kind of this smile like, I can't even believe I'm in the room with everybody. And then you had Trump who's like trying to, he's like he's in Chuck's face, like looking right at him. And Chuck's just smiling and nodding his head and just like, because it's surreal. Could you imagine Bush or Obama or Clinton? No, and that's part of the reason why there's this draw to Trump, because one of the things about Trump, and I don't think people on the left understand this, is for all of the pain in the ass that he is, he's shown, I've always said, a victory in this presidency will be if he can show the people what a giant game politics is. For a lot of people out there, that's a victory right there. For a lot of people, that enough is a victory. All of the other stuff, because he's become at times as bad as anything else in the swamp, right? He has. But if he could just show the baloney between the two parties, the backslapping, what's up, high five, we got it going on, we got a monopoly of politics, it's great, then it's a victory. It is. And that's what it is. Even Nancy, right, is like imploring with, this is why you lost.
60 people of the Republican Party are losing their offices now because of the transition. People are not, the morale
And we've gained
is
in the
not
Senate. Nancy, we've
morale-
gained in the Senate. Excuse me, did we win the Senate? We won the Senate.
When the president brags that he won North Dakota and Indiana, he's in real trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to be honest. That right there, it's like, you won the Senate. You picked up, what, a couple seats? But you didn't have your ass handed to you. But it is funny to watch, just watching the whole thing today in the Oval Office, them fighting, and it's about a wall. It's about $5 billion he wants for a wall. That's it. And with the amount of money we waste, but I agree with what Nancy said last week and what he said all along. I'll find a way for Mexico to pay for it. Figure it out. If he came tomorrow to them and he said, look, I got to deal with Mexico. We're going to cut them a little deal here and a little deal there, essentially getting some money back. We're going to give them a little bit over here, and we're not going to, tax or hit extra fees on the repatriation and do some stuff like that. And we're going to take that savings and whatever else, and we're going to put it into the wall. There you go. Cut somewhere else, put it into the wall. That's what I would say. Cut somewhere else. You want $750 billion for the military? How about $745 billion and you put $5 billion in the wall? There, it's a cut. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Also today going on is Google and their CEO, who Sundar Pichai, I probably said it wrong. I apologize. Had nothing to do with race. Somebody will make it that way. Shut up. Is on the Hill talking to a bunch of people who I'm going to tell you, most of them, the sell-by date is gone. And they're like, so let me ask you this there, Sundar. It's Sundur. Yes, of course. Let me ask you a question. Where's my glasses? Where's my glasses for my glasses? There. Now, do you guys make is this a typewriter? Is this what this is? This looks a lot like an Etch-a-Sketch. So they're asking him questions. And one of the big ones, on top of all of the, did you guys know about all the monkey business, the privacy, the data, all of these kind of things, is, the Republicans are going to ask questions about conservative bias. And, some people are asking questions about that. And some people are just throwing in their own, like Jerry Nadler.
I must first dispense with a completely illegitimate issue, which is the fantasy dreamed up by some conservatives that Google and other online platforms have an anti-conservative bias. As I have said repeatedly, no credible evidence supports this right-wing conspiracy theory.
Well, that's not true. I mean, the fact is that's just, it's that, look, Jack Dorsey, Twitter has said, look, we try to keep ourselves out of this, but yeah, we are a left-leaning company. Google is left-leaning. There's all kinds of memos talking about what if we did this? How can we do that? Even though, quote unquote, maybe it did or didn't happen, that's a bunch of baloney. Sheila Jackson Lee.
Does Google choose conservative voices over liberal voices?
We approach our work without any political bias. We build it in a neutral way.
Answer is no, or yes or no?
No.
No. Do they choose conservative voices over liberal voices? Sheila Jackson Lee, you are crazy, girl. So, and one of the big things we're talking about today is, do we need to maybe regulate you? Have you gotten to the point where maybe you need some regulation, right? Because you got all this stuff, you got all this data, you got all of these kind of things. You've turned us into all kinds of stuff that we can look at. Maybe there's some issues here with what's going on.
Are they fulfilling the promise of the digital age? Are they advancing the cause of self-government? Or are they serving as instruments of manipulation, used by powerful interests and foreign governments to rob the people of their power, agency, and dignity?
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And privacy is a big thing. But we live in a day and age where we, you and I and everybody, we've kind of given up privacy for free stuff, right? That's kind of the deal. The deal is, I want to use your platform, and they're like, okay. And then on the other side of things is, you can use our platform for free, but the caveat is you're going to be out there. And we gladly do it. We post our pictures. We talk about our lives. We do all of those things. And some people are just, that's what matters to them. The views, the likes, the clicks, all of those kind of things. And we live our life out there. And sometimes it bites us in the butt. Case in point, this guy. And when you put yourself out there, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what your intentions are, doesn't matter if you're doing something that you think is absolutely right, because we have this need to want to everybody to see what we're doing, you're going to get blowback, even if maybe you're doing the right thing, but you're going to get blowback. So we talked about this guy, Matt Cox, last week. I think it's up to 25 million views plus on Facebook. He's pissed at his daughter and decided, you know what? This is the second time you bullied somebody. I'm done with this. I'm teach you a lesson.
A little background into this video that's being shot this morning. This lovely lady is my 10-year-old daughter, who has, for the second time this school year, been kicked off the school bus due to bullying another student. Let me make this extremely clear. Bullying is unacceptable, especially in my household.
Right. So he's trying to teach her a lesson. I understand that, right? I understand that he's trying to do that. I don't know why we have this need for everybody to see, but you open yourself up for that. And that's part of, like, we're just talking about privacy. We don't want any of that. And the funny thing is, you get all these parental experts that come out and they're just really hammering this guy. It's public humiliation. It's embarrassing. It shouldn't have been handled this way. It's blah, 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 blah. And the whole time I'm thinking is, this kid doesn't care because this kid has 25 million views of her. Most kids. There are a few kids that it may bother, but for a lot of kids, yeah, their most embarrassing moment, if it gets a lot of views, it's awesome. It's awesome. And I understand what this dad was trying to do, right? This dad was trying to do something here where he was trying to prove a point that you can't treat people the way that you've been treating people and blah, blah, blah. But when you put anything out there, you're opening yourself up for criticism. And if we've not seen anything, if you've not seen anything, just take a look over the last, 5 days. From Kevin Hart to the football player from Oklahoma, right, who was just, Kyler Murray. People are waiting for you to do something so they publicly can expose you for whatever reason. Doesn't matter what it is, whether they're going to shame you by the way you look or any of that stuff that something you wrote when you were 12 years old, whatever it is, they're waiting for you to do something because we love to judge. We got enough Judge Judys in this world. They're everywhere. But when we put it out there, and that's just it, we go to Google willingly. Hey, Google, let me search. Hey, Google, let me use your platforms. Hey, Facebook. Hey, Instagram. Hey, Twitter. What you got for me that's free? That's the reality. That is the real reality right there, is we love it because it's free, and we're willing to just hand it over right there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Got your useless fact of the day straight ahead. Butcher box. Now you're asking yourself, Chad talks about this butcher box. What exactly is it? Is it actual butcher? Is it like Sam the Butcher? Is he in a box? No. It's meat that Sam the Butcher would love to have, but he works at just a regular old, just useless butcher place. He didn't have this. He doesn't have a giant place where you got free range, free roaming chickens just running around outside and grass-fed and grass-finished beef just hanging out and these heritage pork. He didn't have any of that, right? He got none of that. No. He's got none of that. That's what Butcher Box is. Coming straight to you, right at you in 3D Technicolor and uber tasty right to your door. You are not going to find any kind of premium cuts like this anywhere except in that box that comes to your door. That's what Butcher Box can do for you. How about a month's worth of food, less than $6 a meal? You going to get that? Premium. The kind of stuff that you go, whoa, wow, what is that? Yeah, that is Butcher Box. Now, this is what they're doing for my listeners, and it's limited time. It's great for Christmas, perfect to get anybody out there. If you like meat, even if you're a vegetarian and you're saying to yourself, I'm sick and tired of this stuff, I want some meat, this is what you get that person. Butcher Box. Butcher Box. Now, what they're doing for my listeners is $20 off the first box, $20 off the second box, and they're going to sweeten the deal and throw in some bacon. What? Yep. All you got to do is go to butcherbox.com/Chad. Butcherbox.com/Chad. $20 off the first box, $20 off the second box, right? And they're going to sweeten the deal by throwing in bacon in the first box. Butcherbox.com/Chad. Butcherbox.com/Chad. Got a little Christmas fun for you, useless fact of the day. Plus, baby, it's cold outside. Doing all right. Chad Benson Show.
Take one giant step to the left.
Did you ever have anyone embarrass you like this?
One giant step to the right.
That's all that separates you from everything else that came from slime.
You are now in the alt-middle, where it's just right.
Call if you get weird.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
I really can't
2 weeks after a Cleveland radio station banned the song, the holiday streaming chart saw 3 versions of Baby It's Cold Outside jumping more than 35%. Sales of Dean Martin's 1959 rendition jumping 257% in the first week alone. But singer Ingrid Michaelson, who released her Songs for the Season album this year, which does not include Baby It's Cold Outside, calls the lyrics gross.
I think it comes across creepy nowadays, and it's triggering to a lot of women.
She calls it outdated and says it should be nixed from playlists.
Oh, God, really? Because if we're going to start nixing things from playlists, pretty much every rap album and rock album where it's a relationship, by that I mean sex stuff's going on, it's going to be done, right? You can't be hot for teacher anymore. At all. And, man, don't get me started on Meek Mills. And the worst, best rap. I don't even know what I found a guy on Friday. We were talking about just awful rap names. And his name is Ski Mask the Slump God. And I listened to a bit of it yesterday. First of all, I was like, I have no idea what he's saying. Right? Secondly, some of the stuff I could make out. But if we're going to do that, if we're going to start nixing things, well, it's totally gross. He's totally... It's a flirtatious thing. Get over it. It's a trigger. I don't know. Some people, they just freak out. I understand there are people out there that are worried about this, that, and the other. I get that. But when did we get to this point where, like, that's what we're going to start doing now? We're already seeing it in schools where they're like, hey, you know, and this Mark Twain guy, he wrote stuff in this, these Huck Finn and this Tom Sawyer and there's the N-word. We got to change all of those things. We got to get rid of some of this stuff. What I'm really worried about is they're going to attack all of my cowboy shows, right? That's what I'm really worried about. All of my old Gunsmoke and all of those old shows, they're going to attack them because they don't like the way that people spoke back then. So we're just going to get rid of everything. We can't watch Matt Dillon ride around on his horse and do that stuff. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Of course, a lot of you chiming in about these eloquent words from the president.
I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely. And I am proud, and I'll tell you what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security.
Border security. I don't even know what border security looks like. Because when I hear the president talk about border security, I'm thinking you're looking at one area of the border, right? Like that's what you're looking at. You're not looking at the border between us and Canada. You're not looking at the border as it pertains to our any of our shipping and our ports, and you're not looking at the border when it comes to the people that fly here on a daily basis and decide, I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. I'm just going to hang out here. So we'll find out how serious he is. I think he's really serious. I think he's totally fine, and I think he is going to just ride this thing for as long as he can and see what happens, right? Trump already knows they lost, so he doesn't have anything to worry about. Like he's got enough stuff, and if he could take that kind of focus away, then I think he will. It's going to be very interesting to see, but man, they went at it today. And once again, all of the other stuff that was going on is not being talked about. But here's something that I found to be very interesting that people don't really talk about. This is John Kennedy, who, of course, we love here. He's hilarious. He's a Republican from Louisiana, talking about, borders and stuff.
Saudi Arabia has a border wall with Yemen. It's building a border wall with Iraq. Israel has a border wall. Hungary has a border wall. India has a border wall. I can go down the list.
Yeah, they've all got border walls. Some places have walls. Mexico has a wall in some areas. It's more of a fence than a wall, but they do. But it doesn't mean it's going to stop everything. It doesn't mean it's the end all to be all. And my question is to the people out there who think this is going to sort everything out. What if it doesn't? Then what? And if we don't focus on all the other things, not just singularly the wall, but all of it. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. All right, kids, I got you a little useless fact of the day. Christmas is coming up 2 weeks from today in Japan. A Christmas tradition since 1974 is fried chicken. And the place to go is KFC, and you've got to order sometimes months in advance to make sure you have your KFC ready for your Christmas Eve meal. What? At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Be kind to one another. We'll get you over the hump tomorrow. We promise you that. Go have a taco. It's on me. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.